Okay, picture this. Mount Fuji. You know the image, right? Everyone does. It's just iconic.
Absolutely. Serene, majestic, almost unreal sometimes.
But, like, beyond that perfect postcard view, what's the real story? That's what we're digging into today.
Exactly. This isn't just a surface look. We're going deep into Mount Fuji itself and also the area right at its feet, Fuji Kawaguchi Komachi.
We'll be covering its history, why it's so important culturally, and, what you can actually see and do there.
And we've pulled together a whole lot of information for this. We're looking at how the mountain even formed its place in Japanese culture.
And we even looked at a guidebook that talks about local food ingredients in the wider Tokyo area, including the Izu Islands nearby.
Right. There was some mention of like a 2-week Tokyo plan in there, but today we're really zeroing in on Fuji and Fuji Kawaguchiko.
Our goal here is to give you, the listener, a really solid but hopefully engaging understanding. Some surprising facts, maybe some practical tips, but without, drowning you in detail.
Okay, so let's start with the name, Fuji. It feels so ancient, so tied to the mountain, but where it actually comes from, well, it's a bit murky, isn't it?
Murky, really? I assumed it was straightforward.
Not quite. The oldest name we have written down is from way back in 713 CE in a government record. It calls it Fuji no Yama.
Fuji no Yama. Okay, has a certain ring to it. How did we get to just Fuji? Any ideas?
There are a couple of interesting theories. One connects it to the indigenous Ainu language from northern Japan. Their word Fuji means fire.
Fire. Okay, that makes sense for a volcano.
Yeah, so Fuji plus the Japanese word for mountain, san, though Yama was used too, gives you fire mountain. It fits, right?
It definitely fits. What about the kanji characters they use now? Do they mean fire?
That's the interesting part. The kanji used today, they don't directly translate to fire or anything volcanic. They actually carry meanings more like good fortune or wealth, abundance.
Ah, so the meaning shifted over time, reflecting how revered it became.
Seems likely, yeah. It points to that deep respect and sort of auspicious symbolism that got attached to it.
Right. And people usually call it Fuji-san in Japanese, don't they?
Yes, Fuji-san is the common, respectful way. What you sometimes hear from visitors, though, is Mount Fujiyama.
Ah, I've heard that. Is that wrong?
Well, Yama also means mountain. So Mount Fujiyama is basically saying Mount Fuji Mountain. It's just a little redundant.
Gotcha, like saying ATM machine. So Fuji-san it is. Now, obviously, Fuji is way more than just a big rock. It's central to Japan, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a truly sacred symbol for the country. You find that many Japanese people have this incredibly deep personal connection to it. It's like an embodiment of Japan's spirit and natural beauty.
Woven right into the culture.
Deeply. And there's a strong religious element, too, historically.
Pilgrimages, right. People climbing it.
Exactly. For centuries, climbing Fuji has been a really significant religious act. And even now, every summer during the climbing season, you see people making these pilgrimages to the shrines right at the summit.
Wow. That's dedication. It must be quite a journey.
It really speaks to how enduring that spiritual connection is. And then, of course, there's the art.
You can't talk about Japanese art without Fuji popping up everywhere.
Precisely. That shape, that almost perfect cone, it's just captivated artists for ages. And probably the most famous examples are Hokusai's woodblock prints, the 36 views of Mount Fuji.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows those. Instantly recognizable.
They were made back in the early 19th century. And they didn't just show the mountain, they kind of democratized its image, made it familiar to everyone, and really helped cement it as the national symbol. Amazing impact for a set of prints.
Incredible. Okay, let's shift gears a bit to how it actually formed. There's that popular story, isn't there, that it just sort of appeared in 286 BCE after an earthquake?
Ah, okay, yeah. That's the traditional tale. But the geological reality is, well, it's a much, much longer and more complex story. Epic, really.
Longer. How much longer?
We're talking millions of years. The scientific view suggests the whole process started maybe around 2.6 million years ago.
Whoa, 2.6 million. That's mind-boggling.
It is. And get this, the mountain itself sits on a geological base that could be up to 65 million years old.
Okay, my sense of time is officially broken now. So when did the actual volcanic stuff start, the eruptions that built it up?
The first eruptions, the ones that started forming the early peaks, probably happened sometime after about 700,000 years ago. So still incredibly ancient.
And Fuji wasn't the first volcano there, you're saying?
Right. There were sort of predecessors. Mountains that existed before Fuji, as we know, it started rising. There was one called Komitake, which is now part of Fuji's northern slope, and another one, Ashitakayama, to the southeast.
So Fuji kind of rose up between these older mountains.
Exactly. It's what's called a stratovolcano built up from layers of lava, ash, pumice, all that volcanic stuff. It started forming maybe 400,000 years ago, right there between Komitake and Ashitake-am, and like the new kid on the block, geologically speaking.
A very big new kid. How did he get that perfect cone shape then?
That shape is basically the result of three main stages, or three successive volcanoes, really. First was Komitake, the old base.
Right.
Then, around 100,000 years ago, Kofuji, that means Old Fuji, started building on top of Komitake.
Old Fuji. Okay.
And finally, Shin Fuji, or New Fuji, became active probably around 10,000 years ago. It erupted over and over, covering up the slopes of Kofuji and Komitake, adding the summit, and creating that smooth, conical form we see today.
Wow. So it's like layers of history, literally. Komitake, Kofuji, Shinfuji.
Precisely. And that layered history affects everything, the soil composition, what plants grow there, even farming in the area.
Fascinating. Now, Fuji is dormant now, but it's still a volcano. It's part of a bigger system, right?
Oh, definitely. It sits within the Fuji volcanic zone. That's a whole chain of volcanoes stretching up from the Mariana and Izu Islands, right through the Izu Peninsula, and into mainland Honshu.
So it's connected to all that activity further south. What's driving it all?
It's plate tectonics, essentially. You've got the huge Pacific plate sliding underneath the Philippine Sea plate just off the coast of Japan at a place called the Nankai Trough. That massive collision creates the intense heat and pressure needed to generate magma, which then fuels all those volcanoes, including Fuji.
Immense forces. Now, you mentioned the last big eruption was 1707. Is there like a pattern to how often Fuji erupts?
Well, looking at the geological records, scientists think major eruptions seem to happen roughly every 500 years or so.
Every 500 years. And the last one was 1707. That's something to think about.
It is. It certainly raises questions about long-term monitoring and preparedness for the communities living around it.
Tell me more about that 1707 eruption. What happened?
It was a pretty major event. Started in December 1707. Accounts from the time talk about so much ash falling that it basically turned day into night in Edo, that's modern Tokyo, about 60 miles away.
60 miles?
Yeah, and closer to the mountain, the ash-buried temples, houses, it significantly reshaped the landscape nearby.
Terrifying. Was there a trigger for it?
It seems so. Research suggests it was likely set off by a huge earthquake, magnitude 8.4, that hit the region just 49 days earlier.
Wow, so the earthquake destabilized things.
That's the thinking. It really shows how interconnected earthquakes and volcanic activity can be in these zones.
A powerful reminder. What about since 1707? Has it been totally quiet?
Mostly just small earthquakes. But interestingly, after the big 2011 Great Sendai earthquake, there was a noticeable tremor, a magnitude 6.4 aftershock, right on Fuji's southern flank.
So even dormant, it's not completely static.
Exactly. The stresses are still there.
Okay, let's shift from the volcano itself to its surroundings. The Fuji Five Lakes Fujigoko. They're almost as famous as the mountain. How did they form?
Ah, yes, the Fujigoko. Beautiful, aren't they? You've got Lake Yamanaka, Kawaguchi, Sai, Shuji, and Motosu all on the northern side. They were actually created by Fuji's past eruptions. Lava flows basically flowed down, blocked up river valleys, and acted like natural dams. The water pooled behind them, forming the lakes.
Amazing. So these calm lakes exist because of fiery eruptions.
Nature's contrast. And Lake Kawaguchi, that's the one you often see with the perfect reflection of Fuji, right?
Yes, the Sakasa Fuji, the upside-down Fuji.
That's the one. Being the lowest of the five lakes, its surface often gets really calm, perfect for that reflection. It's like the iconic shot for many people.
I can see why. Must be incredibly popular with tourists.
Oh, definitely. The whole area around the five lakes is quite developed for tourism. Lots of stuff to do, amusement parks, gardens, skiing in winter, hiking, boating, you name it.
What about the other lakes? Are they similar?
Each has its own feel. Lake Yamanaka is the biggest and also a big resort area. Lake Sai is known for being a bit quieter, more forested.
Okay.
And Shuji and Motosu are generally even less developed, maybe more for people seeking nature and quiet. But Lake Motosu has its own claim to fame.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
The view of Mount Fuji from Lake Motosu. That specific view is the picture on the back of the Japanese 1,000 yen banknote.
No way. That's cool. I'll have to look out for that.
Yeah. So a different kind of iconic view. And beyond the lakes, there's more too, right?
What else is around?
Well, West of Fuji, there's a plateau area that's become popular for golf courses. And imagine teeing off with Fuji in the background.
Nice view for a slice.
And then southeast, you get into the Hakkai region. That's another famous area. Volcanic landscapes, lots of art museums, and especially known for its hot springs, its onsen resorts like Yumoto and Gusha.
Right. Hakone is very well known. So the whole area around Fuji is just packed with things to see and do.
It really is a huge variety of experiences, all dominated by the presence of the mountain.
Okay, so let's think about someone listening who's maybe dreaming bigger than just a quick visit. Someone who wants to really soak it in, maybe spend extended time in, say, Fuji Kawaguchi Komachi. How can they explore efficiently, really make the most of it?
That's a great goal. Now, getting into the nitty-gritty of moving there, daily costs, that's probably beyond what we've looked at today.
Right, we don't have specific moving guides or cost breakdowns?
But we can talk about how to structure your time if you are spending a while in Fuji Kawaguchiko to really maximize seeing and experiencing the area, because it offers some of the absolute best, most direct views of Fuji.
Perfect. So efficient exploration from Fuji Kawaguchiko. What are the must-dos? Where should they focus?
Okay, priority one has to be Lake Kawaguchi. You just have to spend time there. Don't just snap a picture and leave. Explore the shores.
How's best to do that?
Maybe take one of the sightseeing cruises out on the lake, gives you great perspective. Renting a bike is also fantastic, lets you cover ground efficiently around the shoreline, stop wherever looks good.
Bike sounds good. Less crowded, maybe?
Can be, or honestly, just find a nice spot, maybe a lakeside cafe or park bench, and just sit. Soak in that incredible view, the reflection if you're lucky, give it time.
Okay, Lake Kawaguchi, multiple angles, take your time. What else for efficiency and great views?
The Mount Fuji Panoramic Ropeway. It's a cable car that whisks you up pretty quickly to an observation deck.
For the high-up view.
Exactly. You get stunning panoramas of both Fuji and Lake Kawaguchi laid out below you. Quick ride up, amazing payoff. There's even a cafe up there so you can grab a coffee while you're taking it all in. Very efficient.
View of the coffee, check. What about getting those photos with flowers in the foreground? I've seen those.
Right. For that, you want Oishi Park, especially on the northern shore of Lake Kawaguchi. Depending on the season, it's famous for its flower fields.
Like the pink moss, the shibazakura.
That's the most famous one, in spring. It's this incredible carpet of pink with Fuji rising behind it. But other seasons have different flowers, too. It's an easy way to get spectacular, colorful shots without needing a major hike. Just pure visual beauty.
Sounds amazing. Okay, another iconic photo op. The pagoda.
Yes, the Chorado Pagoda. It's technically in the next town over, Fujiyoshida City, but it's super close to Lake Kawaguchi and absolutely worth the short trip.
That's the one with the red pagoda perfectly framing Fuji.
That's the shot. It's probably the postcard image for many people, especially gorgeous with cherry blossoms. But honestly, it's stunning year-round. You do have to climb some steps to get up there.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
But the view and the photo you get, totally worth that little bit of effort. A must-do for photographers.
Definitely on the list.
Yeah.
What about experiencing some local culture efficiently?
For a good dose of culture plus more great Fuji views, check out Saiko Iyashi no Saronemba. It's this reconstructed traditional village near Lakeside.
Oh, the old thatched roof houses.
Exactly. They've restored them beautifully. Inside, you find little craft shops, artisan workshops, places to eat local food. Gives you a real feel for traditional Japanese life. All with Fuji right there in the background. It's immersive and efficient.
That sounds lovely. Good combo of culture and scenery. Any other quick, recognizable views?
Well, for a fun little side quest, you could try and find the exact spot on the shore of Lake Motosu that matches the picture on the 1,000 yen note.
Huh. Like a little treasure hunt.
Yeah. It's a quick thing, but kind of cool to see it in person.
Okay, what if someone in the group needs a bit more excitement? Thrill rides.
Then you've got Fuji-Q Highland. It's a major amusement park right near the base of the mountain, famous for having some seriously intense roller coasters.
Roller coasters.
Yeah.
With views of Fuji.
You got it. You'll be screaming your head off, and then you catch a glimpse of the serene mountain. It's definitely a unique juxtaposition, a different way to appreciate Fuji's presence.
I'll bet. Okay, what about more nature-focused, maybe slightly offbeat stuff?
If you're into exploring forests and caves, there's the Aokigahara Forest, the Sea of Trees. It has a certain atmosphere.
Right, I've heard about it.
And near or within it, you can find the Fugaku Wind Cave and the Narusawa Ice Cave. Interesting geological formations.
Caves. Cool. worth prioritizing?
Depends on your time and interests, really. If your main goal is those iconic Fuji views, you might stick to the lakes, the Rokue, the pagoda first. But if you have more time and enjoy that kind of natural exploration, they're definitely unique.
Okay, that's a really solid plan for making the most of a stay near Fuji Kawaguchiko. Hit the key spots, get the views, soak it in. Now, you mentioned that guidebook earlier about local ingredients in the Tokyo region and Izu Islands.
Right.
Even though Fuji Kawaguchiko isn't an island, does that tell us anything about the food scene we might find around Fuji?
I think it does, indirectly. While the specific ingredients, especially seafood, will be different from the islands, that guidebook highlighted a really strong emphasis across the whole region on using local seasonal stuff.
So that philosophy likely extends to the Fuji area too.
I'd expect so. When you're eating in Fuji Kawaguchiko, look out for restaurants highlighting produce grown nearby. The volcanic soil there is quite fertile. You'll likely find dishes featuring local vegetables, maybe freshwater fish from the lakes. And definitely look for regional specialties. A classic one in Yamanashi Prefecture, where Fuji Kawaguchiko is hutao noodles.
Hutao, what's that?
It's this fantastic hearty noodle soup. Thick, flat udon noodles in a miso-based broth, usually packed with seasonal vegetables, often pumpkin. It's real comfort food, very local to the area around Fuji.
That sounds delicious, especially after a day of exploring.
Exactly. It perfectly captures that local, seasonal approach. So yeah, while you won't find the exact same island seafood, expect that same focus on fresh regional ingredients. It's part of experiencing the place.
That's really good advice for anyone wanting an authentic taste. Okay, this has been fantastic. We've really covered a lot of ground.
We have, from the mystery of the name Fuji
To its huge cultural and spiritual weight, the millions of years of geology.
the power of its eruptions, the beauty of the lakes.
And some solid tips for exploring Fuji Kawaguchiko efficiently and tasting the local flavors.
It really paints a picture, doesn't it? And it kind of leaves us with a final thought, maybe for you, our listener, to ponder.
Oh, what's that?
When you think about that vast geological timescale, the immense power locked away inside Fuji, and then you see its current quietness, its dormancy, how does knowing that deep past change how you see its calm, serene present?
That's interesting. That stillness isn't necessarily permanent, it's just a phase in a very long story.
Exactly. It's a stillness that holds echoes of incredible power, and it reminds us that the planet is always, always changing, even when it looks peaceful.
A really profound way to think about it. Well, hopefully this deep dive has sparked some curiosity, giving you a richer understanding of this truly amazing landmark and the area around it.
We hope so. And maybe it encourages you to explore further, dig into the art, the myths, the surrounding national park.
Or even plan that efficient trip yourself. As always, this is just the start of the conversation.